If you're a Shopify brand that's currently doing anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000 per month and you feel like you've hit a ceiling and you know creative testing and testing for more winning ads is the solution to your problem, but you can't seem to find any new winning ads on a consistent basis, and it feels like you launch hundreds of ads every single week just for Facebook to spend on that one ad that soaks up 99% of your spend. And because of that, you're not able to scale profitably and hit the revenue targets that you've set for yourself. If that's you, then in this video, I'm gonna be walking you through my step-by-step process for systematically creative testing with Facebook ads that has allowed me to generate over $100 million in Facebook advertising revenue and allows me to help Shopify brands uncover new winning ads in just a matter of weeks that take majority of spend, help them break past their revenue ceilings and scale to their revenue goals. What's up guys, Anthony here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Anthony Camacho. I scaled my first ecom brand to 7 figures and I've generated over 9 figures in advertising revenue, helping Shopify brands make the jump from 6 to 7 figures per month. And in today's video, make sure you stick around until the end because by the end of it, you're gonna walk away with a step-by-step system that you can implement into your business that will allow you to test more creatives more effectively, uncover winning ads faster, and scale much further. Now, really quick before we dive in, I do want to let you know if you are someone who is interested in having me coach you and a coaching program that will teach you how to do everything that you learned in this video and more, I have a full masterclass and coaching program linked in the description that is exclusively for Shopify brands doing anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000 per month and want to learn directly one-on-one from me how to actually scale their brand to $1 million per month without relying on an agency or freelancers, both of which are often overpriced. So if that sounds interesting to you and you're interested in mentorship or coaching from myself personally, then click the first link in the description. Otherwise, let's go ahead and dive into today's video. So how do I conduct creative testing to be able to generate results like you see on screen? Now, if you guys have seen my channel, then you know I live by this philosophy, which is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. This idea informs how I go about media buying, how I think about Facebook ads as a whole, and it also informs how I think about creative testing. Now, if you're a brand that's currently stuck at a certain revenue ceiling, most of this I want to ask if it sounds familiar. You've hit a ceiling with your ad account you can't scale past. You've probably heard, you've watched videos just like this one, you know creative testing is the way to unlock more scale. Everyone says, test more creatives, test more creatives, test more creatives. So what do? You start spying on all of your competitors, you copy paste those ads blindly into your ad account, or you buy one of those Canva static template packs online, or you get one of those lead magnet Canva template packs from another agency who's giving that to you so that way they can pitch you their services. And you test both of those, a combination of one or both. And either way, you end up pouring hours of work and money just for Facebook to spend on that one ad. I know majority of you watching this video that are doing 6 figures a month in revenue with your Shopify brand, you have that one ad in your ad account that Facebook just has this undying love and just absurd attachment to. And no matter what you do, no matter how many hours you pour, no matter how many static template packs you buy, no matter how many of your competitors' ads you copy and paste into your ad account, it still spends on that one ad and you're stuck, right? And so here's your solution. Very simple, okay? Again, keep it simple, stupid. The goal of launching new ads is to get more efficient so we can spend more, obviously. But here's where most brands mess up. They fail to realize the purpose of creative testing. And the purpose of creative testing is to identify and isolate winning variables that produce good outcomes. Because if we can isolate and identify winning variables, then we can build up a combination of winning variables that will then produce a desired outcome. And even better, we'll know exactly why that outcome and which variables are responsible for producing that outcome so that we can replicate that in future ads. And if you're not learning at least one new thing that's working with every test, if you can't walk away with one specific insight that informs your next set of creatives, you're not testing, you're guessing. And so what you need is a system to methodically identify one new winning variable after the next until you have a set of variables that in combination produce the desired outcome that you want. And you don't make a pasta dish all at once. You do each thing to perfection, step by step by step, right? If you want to make a recipe, if you want to make a pasta dish, What do we have to do? Well, first we have to cook the pasta. Well, we're not even gonna go about making the pasta. We're using pre-built stuff. So first you have to make the pasta, right? And the first person who ever came up with a pasta recipe had to figure out what is the best time to cook the pasta. Is it 4 minutes? Is it 6 minutes? Is it 8 minutes? Is it 12 minutes? They test and they figure out, oh, okay, it turns out if you want to get the perfect pasta, you have to cook it for 8 minutes. Now we have that winning variable in isolation. Now let's go ahead and build the sauce. So now we have the pasta base, and we know that if we cook that to perfection, at 8 minutes, we're gonna get the perfect pasta. Then we can start to work on the sauce. And you wanna think of your creatives exactly in that way. Every step you should be uncovering a new winning variable that will then stay as a constant in your next set of tests. And that way, you'll be able to draw stronger connections between the new inputs that you're testing and the outcomes, whether or not they're good or bad, being responsible, or those inputs being responsible for those outcomes, okay? So I wanna introduce you to the hierarchy of testing. And whenever I am taking over an ad account or whenever I am tasked with scaling a brand, taking over their creative strategy, I am going to implement this hierarchy of testing. In other words, if I take over an ad account, what is the first thing that I'm going to test for from a creative standpoint in order to eventually produce that winning ad? So let's start with phase number 1, which is testing for what we call mass desire. And mass desire, as you guys know, if you've seen my channel, my whole philosophy and copywriting strategy is informed heavily by Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz, which to me is the greatest copywriting book of all time, not even close. So the first thing that we want to test when we're launching new sets of creatives is mass desire. And mass desire, all that means is, what do people want out of this product? What is the private want that people have that is shared by tons of people that people want out of this product? What do your customers actually want? And the way that you uncover this is through the research. You can do deep research with ChatGPT. You can do review mining with ChatGPT. And what this will look like from a practical standpoint, I'm gonna zoom ahead, is you wanna have 4 at least desires related to your product. And ideally, these are in order of the most prominent desires based on the research. And your desires should look something like this. The desire to blank. It's usually achieving a certain outcome or getting away from a certain outcome. So for this particular product, for an example, we have 4 desires here for a knee relief product. We have the desire to stay independent and mobile as you age. We have the desire to avoid surgeries. We have the desire to heal naturally without side effects or avoid painkillers. And then we have the desire to feel young and capable and control again. 4 totally different desires, 4 totally different things that people could want out of this product that our product solves. And you need to figure out, what do people actually want out of this product? Oh my goodness. Because remember, people don't buy your product, they buy what they think the product will give them. So whenever I start on a brand new account, I'm gonna take 1 or 2 specific formats, usually images, and I'm gonna start message testing to try and figure out what desires do people actually want out of this product. And I'll show you another example of what that looks like in practice. So we're gonna take typically 2 concepts. We're gonna keep the concepts as a constant, and we're gonna change the text overlay to match the specific desire. So what that will look like is, for one concept, you're gonna have 4 different text overlays that are resonating with those 4 different desires. And then we're gonna launch those in the ad account. We're doing a CBO campaign, we're doing 1 concept per ad set, and we're letting that run from anywhere from 7 to 14 days, depending on your budget. If you're spending $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a day, you don't need to wait up 2 weeks on a creative test. You can usually make the decisions faster. But let's say you're spending between $100 and $1,000 per day, then you wanna let that go for at least a week, okay? And that is going to uncover what is the winning desire from for your product, okay? Once you identify what is that winning mass desire, the second variable that we need to account for, or the second variables rather, are what we call market sophistication and awareness level. So let's start with market sophistication. Market sophistication, and for both of these, there is a dominant sophistication and awareness level for your product, but it's still important to test different levels for each of these. So what market sophistication basically says is, to what extent have your customers been exposed to similar marketing messages from your competitors? Because if they've heard the same claim from you, chances are you need to either change your claim or embellish your claim in order to actually stand out. If one brand says lose weight, lose 10 pounds with this pill, and your brand says lose 10 pounds with this pill, you guys are both saying the same thing. And so your message is going to fall on deaf ears. So market sophistication tells you to what extent do you need to change or modify your claim so that way you can stand out from your competitors. And awareness level basically is this idea that in your total addressable market, there is a full spectrum of awareness levels that people have relative to your product. So you have people who are completely unaware, who have no idea that they even have a problem that your product solves, let alone about your product, all the way down to most aware. Most aware people are people who know they have a problem. They know about all the solutions on the market. They know about your solution specifically, and they know they want your solution. They are just not quite convinced, or they just don't have a reason to act now. So it's a full spectrum. So you want to identify what is your dominant sophistication and your dominant awareness level. I will say for majority of brands that sell problem-solving products, you're going to be in what's called a stage 4 sophisticated market, which means highly saturated. And your awareness level is generally going to be people who are problem and solution aware. So I have separate videos on the awareness levels. I'm not going to dive into the specifics. Just know that after you test for mass desire, you want to test for market sophistication and market awareness levels. Okay. Then once you've identified what your dominant mass desire is and your dominant sophistication and awareness levels are, now you can start to test individual ad concept variables. And this is when we start to test creative types, because most people do the inverse and they start testing creative types. They start testing formats. They watch a Dara Denny video, which by the way, huge props to her. She's a great creator, but they watch one of her top 3 static ad templates to use, and then they just copy paste it. And they wonder why it's not working. Because their foundation for the creative or the messaging for the creative is not aligned with what their customers actually want, nor is it aligned with how many times they've heard similar claims from your competitors, nor is it aligned with their awareness level relative to your product. So once you've identified mass desire, sophistication, and awareness level, now you can start to test these types of variables. And from left to right are the order that you want to go after. So you want to test creative types, carousels versus images versus videos. You want to test ad formats, comparisons, problem solution, us versus them, educational frameworks. Mind states is another one that is severely underrated. And then ad angles and sales arguments, right? Think of the angle as the strategic lens that you frame the product. You could frame the product as being the solution to knee pain so that someone can go back to playing with their grandkids, or you could frame it as the solution to knee pain from sitting too much at your desk as a work from home individual. I know that pain point all too well. So this is the basically step-by-step system that you have. You're testing desires in one set of creative tests. Then you're testing sophistication and awareness level. Then you're testing for creative types, formats, mind states. And what's great is with every test, you're going to uncover, based on the performance, which desires work in the best, which sophistication and awareness levels work the best. So that way, once you identify these 3 variables, now these don't change with every single variable. And let me show you an example of how this looks like in practice. Okay, so let's say you have a CBO testing campaign, and that's how I launch all my creative tests. Let's say we're starting from baseline level 1, we're testing for mass desire. Okay, we launch each of our desire ads. So we have desire 1, 2, 3, 4 separated by ad sets. After a week, this is most commonly what you're going to see. You're going to see one ad set take the majority of spend and generate the best performance. Okay. Whichever ad set generates the spend and gets the best performance, that means that is the winning ad set. And you know, because everything else is the same, the only variable that's different amongst these ad sets is the desire that you're testing. Then you know that specific desire is the winning variable. Okay. So once you identify that, now you can bring this variable that you've tested for as a winning variable as a constant in your next set of creatives. Okay. This is where the magic starts to happen. All right, so now what this looks like, okay, there. Now what this looks like is you take desire number 1, and as we mentioned, let's say you already have your awareness level and your sophistication nailed down. Now you can take desire number 1 and you can test different variables on top of this desire. So we're gonna take desire number 1 and we're gonna start to test new concepts. We might test a 4-part comic strip image ad and a UGC video ad, and there's room for variations in those as well. Okay, we're going to test them in the exact same setup, and now your campaign should look something like this. So desire number 1 stays as a constant in all the ad sets, and now we're building off of that by testing additional variables on top of this winning variable. So now we have desire number 1 as the original ad set. Now we have our new ad concepts that we're testing for. Same thing is going to happen. Spend is going to flow to whichever ad set is most likely to generate the best possible outcome. And wherever the highest spend and conversions come from is a winning ad set. And now you know, let's say we get all of our spend to this ad set here, then we know that this desire with this creative format is a winner. Then we can build off of that to start testing different hooks. We might test a different customer avatar. But as you can see, you'll slowly start to build up this stack of proven variables where you're starting from a baseline foundational building block of testing for the desire, then testing for creative type, then testing for demographic or persona, then testing for specific angles or different hooks, then testing for totally different frameworks and building off of each one. And you'll see here that these are in order of what drives and what moves the needle the most. And systematically, step by step, you will eventually build your way to a winning ad the exact same way you would build yourself to a winning pasta recipe, which is starting with the most important variables, isolating them, proving which of those variables works, and then building off of those with every single creative test. With every single creative test, you are bringing an increasing number of proven variables into each test if you're following the system. And because of that, you're getting more efficient with your tests, you're getting more value out of your tests, and you're increasing the likelihood that those creative tests produce the desired outcome that you want because you're stacking constantly these proven variables in your favor. And that is how you systematically creative test and uncover new winning ads faster in just a matter of weeks that will allow you to hit your desired CPA targets or your ad account targets and scale further. So that is going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It greatly helps out with the channel. By the way, if you made it to the end of this video, I noticed, I think it's like 95% of people don't make it to the end. So if you're seeing this section of the video, the 5% of you that are seeing this, I want you to comment the word bunny rabbit in the comments just so we can kind of mess with people that don't stick around until the end. And I just kind of want to see what people say. If they're just like, why are all these people commenting bunny rabbit? You're going to know why, because you're a G and you stuck around until the end. So that's going to do it for this video. Now, again, if you are a Shopify brand that's currently doing $50,000 to $200,000 per month and you're interested in one-on-one coaching and my complete masterclass and coaching program, it's going to be the first link in the description. I'll also be giving away so many different kinds of bonuses in addition to a free 30-day growth map that will do a full ad account restructure and rebuild for you, in addition to mapping out 3 creative concepts that I would test if I was taking on your ad account as an agency client. So if you're interested in that, the one-on-one coaching, the masterclass, all of my systems and SOPs that allow me to generate $100 million in advertising revenue, and you're interested in scaling your brand from 6 to 7 figures and having me coach you along the way, click the first link in the description to join my private course and community Scale. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.